Today is about do or die, how to start and build a digital healthcare startup in Germany. This is a very challenging task as there's a long way to market, lots of challenges ahead. So let's talk to someone who has recently implemented a startup in Germany with state-of-the-art approaches. Today with me is Nicklas. Nicklas, welcome.
Hi, Nikos.
Happy to have you.
Likewise, happy to be here.
So Nicklas, maybe you tell us a little bit about yourself and your startup, Key Elements?
Sure. My name is Nicklas Linz. I'm the founder and CEO of Key Elements, and at Key Elements we use speech as a window to brain health. So we look at speech samples from patients and try to find out what's wrong with them in comparison. We are very focused on neurodegenerative disease and using speech as a biomarker for example, Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, that's a very cool idea.
Thank you.
Nicklas, please tell me, how did you identify those digital pain points you want to solve?
I think there are two different questions you can ask to identify digital pain points. One is what is done currently, what is very inefficient in an analog way. The other is what isn't done at all currently that's now possible with new technologies. And I think as many AI approaches are more to the second side, where it's something that might not be possible right now, and that's a very early detection of neurodegenerative disease with a very innovative way. But there are other ideas which are more on digitalizing actually things that are done currently, which might be ineffective. So documentation processes or things like this. And these are pain points as well, and maybe the risk is a little bit smaller in these cases because these procedures are established already on the market. For us, I think the risk was much higher and is still much higher because we are trying to solve a problem that is not solved in an analog way at all yet. So I think the gains and the risks are much bigger.
And how do you deal with that risk? So how do you take decisions in order to go forward or not with a certain idea, let's say, or a feature in your product?
Yeah, I think iterative design is very important here, and having stakeholders involved in every part of the process, and stakeholders meaning every kind of stakeholder. So in the case of Alzheimer's, that's not only doctors or not only patients, but also family members who are connected to them, patient organizations, governmental bodies, and everyone you can get access to, basically, and then try to continuously validate your ideas with them. Building prototypes and basically trying to make sure you're not building something that no one wants in the end, because that would be the biggest waste of all.
Yeah, but that seems like a lot of work. So how do you structure your work and go about it? Maybe solving these, because I guess you cannot, contact or reach the stakeholders at the same time or in the same time window. So how do you do that?
Yeah, I think in the beginning it's very important to focus on actually the concept behind everything. I think as a technology founder, you tend to just, you want to implement something, or you actually start with the technology first. But you really should think about more of the structure and the model behind what you're trying to do. Try to find out the model on the operational side as well as on the business side. What are actually the hypotheses these models are built upon, and how can you validate these hypotheses with kind of the minimal required effort? And effort could be talking to people, effort could be in building things, basically. And so once you've minimized all these risks and answered all these hypotheses, which are not all going to turn out perfect, you might run into things which are not true, which you assumed, or you can't really validate in the end. There might be a noisy signal in there as well. In the end, you try to, get the best data you can and make your decisions based on that.
Well, that sounds like a very logical approach. And tell me, Nicklas, since we work together at RoX, so what was the decision to work with RoX and how do you experience it?
So I think there are lots of points in this journey which require different capabilities, basically, which might not all be available in your area or your team as such. Those might be of legal nature. In the medical field, often it's also regulatory concerns which are difficult to deal with. And we just found the service offering provided by RoX to be a perfect match of what we basically struggle with or what we would need support with, which usually we would have to buy in, basically. And so working together with RoX gave us the opportunity to get this really in a compact way, basically, support from partners we work with. As well as getting lots of contacts in the pharmaceutical industry from RoX and getting the perspective also of a pharmaceutical company behind it to understand how they see clinical markets.
Thank you. And what's the road ahead for you in the next couple of months? So what are you actually working on now?
So currently we are working on launching a new product to the market, actually, which will be an early detection tool for Alzheimer's disease. And on the other hand, we are currently trying to get financial investment into our company to help us scale up this product on the German market.
Well, good luck with that, Nicklas.
Thank you.
And all the best. Thanks for being here today. And
always a pleasure.
Let's speak soon.
Hi, I'm Uwe from RoX. I'm co-founder and I'm responsible for business development and sales. And we are enabling startups to come into business.